Every great success story begins with one common truth. Someone, somewhere, started from scratch. No money, no support, no connections, no guarantees, just a dream, a vision, and the courage to take the first step. Starting from scratch is not a sign of weakness. It is the birthplace of strength, resilience, and greatness. When you start from scratch, you learn what most people never do. You learn how to build. You learn how to turn nothing into something. You learn how to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. You learn that failure isn't the end. It's a teacher. And with every setback, you gather wisdom, courage, and clarity. Think about it. Every empire, every invention, every movement that changed the world started small. Apple started in a garage. Amazon began in a small room. Walt Disney was once fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. But they all shared one thing. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They began with what they had, where they were, and they kept moving forward. Starting from scratch forces you to grow. It strips away your excuses. It teaches you humility. When you have nothing to fall back on, you learn to rely on yourself, your will, your faith, and your hard work. You stop complaining about what you don't have and start creating with what you do have. That's where transformation begins. The truth is, the most powerful stories are not written by people who had everything handed to them. They are written by those who fought through storms, who built from dust, who refused to quit when life said you can't. So if you are standing at the beginning today, unsure of where to start, start anyway. Start small, start afraid, start uncertain. Because starting from scratch is not about where you are. It's about who you are becoming. You don't need to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need faith in yourself and the courage to take that first step. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every champion once struggled to win their first round. Every builder once stared at an empty plot of land. What makes them different is that they started. They believed in their vision long before the world did. They showed up every single day, brick by brick, word by word, step by step, until the impossible became possible. You see, when you start from scratch, you learn to appreciate every inch of progress. You don't take success for granted because you've earned every bit of it. You've tasted struggle, you've known sacrifice, and you've felt the pain of starting over. But you've also discovered the power within yourself to rise again. There will be moments when it feels like you're not moving fast enough, when you doubt if all your effort is worth it. But understand this, every small step forward counts. Every sleepless night, every tough decision, every setback that tries to break you. It's all shaping you into someone unstoppable. Starting from scratch isn't just about building a business, a dream, or a career. It's about building you. It's about discovering your true potential. It's about finding out that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. So when life knocks you down and everything seems lost, remember, this is not the end. This is your new beginning. You're not behind. You're being prepared. You're not empty, you're being refined. Greatness doesn't start with comfort. It starts with courage. Never underestimate the power of a person who starts from nothing but refuses to quit. That's the kind of person who changes the world. That's the kind of person you are becoming. So take that first step. Build even when no one believes in you. Work even when the results seem invisible. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Because one day, you'll look back and realize everything you dreamed of began the moment you decided to start from scratch. Greatness does not always come from privilege, resources, or opportunities. More often, it is born from nothing, from the depths of struggle, uncertainty, and the refusal to give up when everything seems impossible. The truth is, greatness begins with nothing, because when you have nothing, you learn the true meaning of value, effort, and persistence. You learn to see potential where others see limits. You learn to create your own path when no one is willing to guide you. Starting from nothing is not a curse, it's a gift in disguise. It strips you of comfort and forces you to build strength. It demands faith when there is no visible sign of success. It teaches you that growth does not come from having everything, but from learning to make something out of anything. The greatest names in history, from inventors to leaders, did not rise because life was easy for them. They rose because when life gave them nothing, they created everything. Think about the pioneers who changed the world. Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. He had no guarantee of success, no certainty that his next attempt would work. But he believed in his vision. Every failure was not a defeat, it was progress. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television, yet she built an empire from the very rejection that was meant to break her. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Each of them started with nothing but belief, and that belief was more powerful than any resource. When you start from nothing, you see life differently. You understand that everything worth having requires effort, patience, and discipline. You stop looking for shortcuts because you realize there are none. The road may be longer, the nights may be darker, but the lessons learned along the way become your armor. You develop endurance that comfort could never teach. You become stronger not because things got easier, but because you refused to give up when they were hard. It's easy to admire success when you see the end result. The fame, the money, the recognition. But behind every success story lies years of invisible work. Moments of self-doubt, tears, failures, and restarts. That's what starting from nothing truly means. It's waking up every day to fight for something no one else can see but you. It's holding on to your dream when everyone else tells you to let go. It's choosing progress over perfection, faith over fear, and purpose over comfort. Greatness begins with nothing because starting from the bottom teaches you to appreciate every victory, no matter how small. When you build something from the ground up, every milestone matters. Every lesson counts. You realize that the journey itself is what shapes you into the person capable of handling success. Because success without struggle is fragile, but success built from nothing is unshakable. Every setback you face while starting from scratch is not a sign of failure. It's a lesson in disguise. When life breaks you, it's not to destroy you, but to rebuild you stronger. Each challenge is a test of faith, not in the world, but in yourself. You have to believe that the pain you feel now is temporary, but the strength you gain from it will last forever. Greatness is never handed out. It's earned through sleepless nights, through moments when you wanted to quit, but didn't, through the relentless pursuit of your vision, even when the world doubted you. There is something powerful about starting with nothing. It gives you clarity. When you have little, you focus on what truly matters. You learn to make wise choices, to value time, and to stay disciplined. You stop chasing distractions because you can't afford them. You become intentional about your goals. You learn to make sacrifices today for a better tomorrow. That hunger, that drive, it cannot be bought, it can only be forged in struggle. The world often celebrates the end result, the success, the fame, the wealth. But the real story lies in the beginning. The part where someone decided to start despite the odds. The part where failure became a daily visitor. The part where everyone said, "You can't." And they quietly replied, "Watch me." That's where greatness is born. Not in luxury, not in ease, but in effort. When you begin with nothing, you are forced to find your purpose. You start asking deeper questions. Why am I doing this? What do I want to create? What impact do I want to make? And when you discover that purpose, it becomes your fuel. It becomes the reason you get up early, the reason you keep going when no one else believes in you. Purpose makes you unstoppable, and that purpose is often discovered in the emptiness of starting from scratch. There's beauty in the struggle. The climb is what makes the view at the top meaningful. If everything came easy, success would lose its value. It's the hard days that make the victories sweeter. It's the sacrifices, the failures, the late nights, and the early mornings that give your story power. You may not see it now, but every small effort is building the foundation for something greater than you can imagine. The truth is, no one remembers those who gave up halfway. The world remembers those who kept going despite the obstacles. When you start from nothing and still rise, your story becomes proof that it's possible for anyone to do the same. You become an inspiration, a living testament that the human spirit can overcome anything. Your journey becomes a beacon of hope for others who are still at the bottom, wondering if they can ever make it out. So if you feel like you have nothing, no money, no support, no direction, understand this. You have everything you need within you. You have your mind, your will, your determination, and your ability to learn. These are the true tools of greatness. Everything else can be built over time. Don't let your current circumstances define your future. Many have started with less and achieved more than they ever dreamed of. Remember this, the ground you're standing on right now might look empty, but it's the same ground where your greatness will grow. The pain you feel today will become the power you carry tomorrow. The doubt that surrounds you now will one day be replaced by the confidence of knowing you made it. You may be starting from nothing, but you are not nothing. You are full of potential, full of power, and full of purpose. Every time you fail, every time you start over, you're getting closer to who you're meant to be. Each chapter of struggle adds depth to your story. Each fall teaches you how to rise stronger. Don't be ashamed of humble beginnings. They are the most authentic beginnings, because when you build yourself from nothing, no one can take it away from you. So, keep going, keep building, keep believing. Even when it feels impossible, even when you're tired, even when progress is slow, keep moving forward. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that everything you are, everything you've achieved, came from those moments when you had nothing but faith. Greatness doesn't begin when you have everything. It begins when you decide to do something with nothing. It begins when you choose courage over comfort, action over excuses, and hope over fear. It begins when you say, I may not have much, but I will make something out of what I have. That decision, that spark, is the seed of greatness. And when that seed takes root, it grows through adversity, through pain, through rejection, through doubt. But it grows because you nurture it with persistence and belief. And someday, that small beginning will become a story that inspires millions. The story of how greatness truly began with nothing but the courage to start. So don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect plan. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Because greatness isn't found in perfection. It's found in progress. And every great journey begins the same way, with one person, one dream, and nothing but the will to begin. Greatness begins with nothing, but it never stays there. Courage is the first step, the invisible force that separates dreamers from doers, wishers from achievers. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation begins with that single, defining act of courage. The decision to begin, even when the odds seem impossible. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the determination to move forward in spite of it. It's standing at the edge of uncertainty and saying, I may not know where this road leads, but I trust myself enough to take the first step. When you look at the lives of people who have changed the world, you'll notice something remarkable. None of them started with all the answers. None of them knew how things would turn out. They simply began, afraid, unsure, unprepared, but committed. They understood that courage doesn't wait for confidence. Confidence comes after you take the step, after you fall and rise again, after you see that you're capable of more than you thought possible. Courage is what fuels beginnings. It's what pushes you to start when the path ahead looks uncertain, when the world doubts you, and when your own fears whisper that you're not ready. The truth is, no one ever feels completely ready. There will always be reasons to wait. The timing isn't right. The resources aren't enough. The plan isn't perfect. But if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. The perfect moment doesn't exist. What exists is now, this moment, this breath, this decision to take a chance on yourself. Courage is quiet. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the whisper that says, try again tomorrow. It's the small decision to keep going after you've failed a dozen times. It's getting up when your dreams have been crushed, when your heart feels heavy and your mind tells you it's pointless. Courage is choosing to believe that every setback is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. It takes courage to start from scratch, to look at your life stripped of guarantees, stripped of certainty, and still say, I'm going to build something beautiful out of this. It takes courage to leave behind comfort, to step out of what's familiar and walk into the unknown. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they never begin. They let fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown keep them trapped in the same place. But the brave ones, they move, they act, they risk. Starting from nothing requires you to believe in yourself when no one else does. It requires you to look in the mirror and say, I may not have much, but I have me. I have my effort, my faith, my determination. That is where greatness is born. Every empire began with one brick. Every masterpiece began with one brushstroke. Every journey began with one step. Courage is that step. It's the spark that ignites the fire of progress. And yes, courage comes with fear. They coexist. You can't be brave without fear, because bravery only exists in its presence. It's not about being fearless. It's about being willing to move even when your hands shake and your voice trembles. The people who achieve the most aren't the ones who feel no fear. They're the ones who act despite it. Courage is not just about taking big leaps. Sometimes it's found in small actions. It's saying no when everyone expects you to say yes. It's standing for what's right when it's easier to stay silent. It's choosing growth over comfort, progress over perfection. It's trying again after you've been rejected, showing up after you've been ignored, believing again after you've been broken. There's a story in every life about a moment when courage made the difference. A moment when someone decided not to quit, not to give up, not to let fear win. Think about your own journey. How many times have you wanted to start something new? A business, a dream, a relationship, a change, but you hesitated because you felt unprepared. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you were waiting for the right time? The truth is, courage is the only thing that turns on day into day one. You will never know what you're capable of until you begin. You will never discover your strength by staying still. Every time you take that first step, even when you're scared, you build momentum. You build trust in yourself. You show life that you are ready to grow. And once you begin, something magical happens. Doors start to open. People show up. Ideas flow. The universe begins to align with your intention. But none of that happens until you move. Courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Every challenge you face, every fear you confront, adds another layer of resilience to your spirit. You start to realize that fear doesn't control you. You control it. You stop letting fear dictate your choices. You stop waiting for certainty, and you start creating it through action. That's how transformation begins, one brave decision at a time. Of course, courage doesn't mean things will always go as planned. You will fail. You will stumble. You will doubt yourself. But that's okay, because courage isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. Every failure you face builds character. Every time you rise again, you become more powerful than before. The strongest people you'll ever meet aren't those who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. Courage gives you permission to live authentically. It frees you from the opinions of others. It teaches you that your worth isn't defined by your mistakes or your past. It allows you to walk your own path, even when others don't understand it. When you choose courage, you choose yourself. You choose growth over approval, faith over fear, and progress over perfection. Sometimes courage looks like standing alone. Sometimes it looks like starting over. Sometimes it means walking away from things that no longer serve you. But every act of courage brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. Every act of courage writes a new chapter in your story. One that says, I was afraid, but I did it anyway. History remembers those who dared. The world doesn't celebrate those who waited for permission. It honors those who acted when no one believed. Nelson Mandela once said, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. He knew what it meant to fight through fear, to stand firm in the face of adversity. And so do you. You may not realize it yet, but every time you've faced something difficult and made it through, you were courageous. The truth is, courage doesn't make life easier, it makes you stronger. It doesn't remove obstacles, it helps you climb over them. It doesn't guarantee success, it guarantees growth. And with growth comes strength, wisdom, and the unshakable belief that you can face whatever comes next. So today, if you find yourself at a crossroads, unsure of what to do, remember this: you don't have to see the entire path to take the first step. Just start. Start where you are with what you have. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for someone to tell you that you're ready. The moment you decide to move, that's when everything begins to change. Courage is contagious. When you act with bravery, you inspire others to do the same. You become a living example that fear doesn't have to win, that it's possible to rise from nothing, to dream without limits, to begin again. Your courage might be the spark that lights someone else's fire, the proof that they, too, can can start from scratch and build something extraordinary. No one said the journey would be easy, but every step you take in courage moves you closer to your destiny. Every choice to keep going, every time you push past doubt, every moment you refuse to give up, it all matters. Because success is not built in a day, it's built every day through small acts of bravery that accumulate into greatness. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that the moment everything changed wasn't when you reached the top. It was when you took that first step, the moment you decided to believe in yourself, the moment you dared to try. That was the beginning of everything. So take that step. Don't wait. Don't fear. Don't hesitate. You are capable. You are enough. You are brave. And sometimes all it takes to change your entire life is one act of courage. Courage is the first step, and it's the one that makes all the others possible. Struggle shapes strength, a truth that stands at the core of every person who has ever achieved greatness. The world often celebrates success, but what we rarely see are the long, lonely nights, the silent tears, and the constant battles that build that success. Strength does not come from comfort. It is forged in difficulty, in disappointment, and in the moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. Struggle is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher, your truest test, and the foundation of your growth. When you go through struggle, you are not just enduring pain. You are being shaped by it. Each hardship you face has a purpose. It strips away weakness, teaches patience, and replaces fear with courage. You see, life doesn't build strength through ease. If everything came easily, you would never learn what you are truly capable of. It's only when you're pushed to your limits, when the road feels endless, that you discover how powerful you really are. Think about a seed buried deep in the soil. It is surrounded by darkness, pressed under the weight of dirt, and yet it pushes upward, breaking through layers of resistance just to find the light. That is struggle. It is uncomfortable, it is painful, but it is also the reason the seed becomes a tree. The same applies to you. You may be buried by challenges, surrounded by uncertainty, but those very struggles are preparing you for growth. They are helping you rise. Every successful person you admire has a story of struggle. They faced rejection, loss, and failure, yet they kept going. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by dozens of publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before returning to make Apple a powerhouse. What separated them from others was not talent alone. It was their ability to turn struggle into strength. When you face challenges, you have two choices: to let them break you or to let them build you. Those who let struggle build them become unstoppable. They don't avoid pain, they learn from it. They don't run from failure, they rise from it. Every setback becomes a setup for a greater comeback. That's the mindset of champions. They understand that struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. Struggle also teaches gratitude. When you've had to fight for every inch, you learn to appreciate every bit of progress. When you've been through the fire, you value the warmth of success differently. People who have never struggled may take their blessings for granted, but those who have climbed from the bottom understand the worth of every step. Struggle gives meaning to your achievements. Sometimes, struggle feels unfair. You wonder why life is testing you when others seem to have it easier. But remember, diamonds are made under pressure. Muscles grow through resistance. The strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. The same law applies to your life. The heavier your challenges, the stronger your spirit becomes. if you choose to endure. The world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards perseverance. There will be moments when you want to give up, when the pain feels endless and the effort seems invisible. But that is the exact moment your growth is happening. You may not see it yet, but inside you, strength is forming, quiet, steady, and unbreakable. Every time you rise after falling, every time you choose hope over despair, you are rewriting your story. You are building a resilience that no failure can destroy. Struggle also reveals who you truly are. When everything is easy, anyone can smile. But when everything falls apart, your character is tested. How you respond to adversity defines you more than how you celebrate success. Strength isn't measured by how loud you roar in victory, but by how silent and steady you stand in pain. The strongest people are often the quietest fighters. Those who smile through tears, who believe when there's no reason to believe, who continue even when no one sees their effort. And as strange as it sounds, struggle connects you with others. When you've suffered, you gain compassion, you understand pain, and you become kinder to others fighting their own unseen battles. That's another hidden gift of struggle. It not only makes you strong, it makes you human. It gives you depth, humility, and empathy, qualities the world desperately needs. Sometimes the struggle is not just external, it's internal. It's the voice in your head that doubts you, that whispers you're not good enough, that reminds you of past mistakes. But even that internal struggle is shaping you. Every time you silence that voice and move forward anyway, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fears. Inner battles often hurt the most, but they also create the deepest strength. You see, growth and comfort cannot coexist. You can't become who you're meant to be if you're always avoiding discomfort. The path to greatness is not paved with ease. It's built through endurance. When you struggle, you're not losing. You're evolving. You're being refined into someone wiser, tougher, and more capable than before. Even nature reflects this truth. The butterfly must fight its way out of the cocoon to strengthen its wings. If someone tries to help it by cutting the cocoon open, the butterfly never learns to fly. That struggle is necessary for its survival. The same goes for you. Your struggles are giving you the strength to fly higher than you ever imagined. Without them, you'd never reach your full potential. There's a saying, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Calm waters are pleasant, but they don't build expertise. It's the storms that teach you how to navigate. It's the uncertainty that builds your courage. Life is not trying to break you. It's trying to teach you how to steer your ship. When you stop running from the storm and learn to sail through it, that's when you discover true strength. So if you're in a difficult place right now, if life feels heavy, if nothing seems to work, if you're tired of trying, understand this is your training ground. Every tear, every failure, every disappointment is shaping you for something greater. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you'll need tomorrow. Never underestimate the power of persistence. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is not talent, it's endurance. It's the refusal to give up when life becomes unbearable. Every moment you choose to keep going, you're building a strength that can't be taken away. You may bend, but you will not break. You may fall, but you will rise again, stronger, wiser, and more determined. Struggle also purifies your purpose. When everything is difficult, you learn what truly matters. You stop chasing approval and start chasing growth. You stop seeking shortcuts and start valuing progress. Hard times strip away distractions and reveal your real priorities. You learn that success isn't just about what you achieve, but about who you become in the process. And one day, when you've made it, when you've turned your pain into purpose and your wounds into wisdom, you'll look back and realize that the struggle was never your enemy. It was your greatest gift. Without it, you wouldn't have learned to stand tall. Without it, you wouldn't know your own power. The struggle didn't break you, it built you. Remember, strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you earn. It's shaped by every failure you've endured, every loss you've survived, and every challenge you've overcome. Life's hardest battles are reserved for life's strongest warriors. So, if you're struggling right now, it's because you're being molded for something incredible. The road won't be easy, but it will be worth it. You may not see it yet, but every ounce of pain has a purpose. Every setback is part of the story that's shaping you into the person you're destined to become. Keep fighting, keep believing, because one day you'll look back and thank the struggle for making you unbreakable. So don't fear the hard times, embrace them. Walk through them with faith, not fear. Trust that every challenge is strengthening your foundation. Struggle shapes strength, and strength shapes destiny. The person you're becoming through your struggles will be the one who inspires others, who leads with compassion, and who stands unshaken no matter what life throws their way. You are stronger than you think, braver than you know, and more capable than you realize. The struggle is not your end, it's your beginning. It's your transformation. It's your path to greatness. So rise up, face the storm, and keep going, because your strength is being shaped right now in the fire of your struggle, and one day soon, when the dust settles, you'll understand why you had to go through it all, to discover the power, the purpose, and the greatness that were always within you.